US President Donald Trump has continued his tour of Asia with a stop in Japan, sitting down with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi to sign a rare earths deal. It's one of the most significant meetings yet for Japan's first female leader, who took office only earlier this month. Let's go straight to Tokyo. Stephen Nagy is Professor of Politics and International Studies at the International Christian University and joins us now. Stephen, Japan and the US have signed a framework deal on the mining and processing of critical minerals and rare earths. Tell us what's in this agreement.
Thanks, Yvonne, for having me. And it's really important for us to understand that both Japan and the United States really are susceptible to weaponization of rare earth material mining, but also the processing process, which is really dominated by China. So by signing this framework, what the two countries have done is that they basically decided that they're going to explore rare earth mining together, and they're going to invest in the technologies to process this. Now, what makes this deal even more significant is that Japan has been at the forefront of really the weaponization of rare earth materials. Back in 2010, it first experienced these informal embargoes against Japan and rare earth materials. So it's a partnership that I think is going to be very complementary and synergistic. And what they're really planning to do is to ensure that they have free access to rare earth materials for those defense industries, for those iPads and all that IT stuff that we use every day to keep our communication going. This will keep the alliance on the forefront of being the most advanced and most sophisticated alliance, but ensure all those technologies work smoothly. I think it's a real match made in heaven, and there's a lot of synergy here for more cooperation.
There's also a lot of pressure for Japan to do more trade with the US. Exports to the US will face 15% tariffs. That's now being confirmed on this trip. Is Japan happy with that?
Of course, nobody's happy with tariffs, but for Japan, the priority is to maintain the strongest and most robust and deepest Japan-US alliance. It's the only alliance partner that Japan has. And although it's built reciprocal access agreements with Australia and made tremendous progress with Australia in terms of security cooperation, the reality is Japan faces a very tough neighborhood. Weapons proliferation from North Korea. China is assertive in the South China Sea, across the Taiwan Strait, and the East China Sea. And Russia, since the invasion of Ukraine, has been much more assertive in the region, cooperating not only with China, but also facilitating North Korea's weapons of mass destruction, launching vehicles and refining those technologies. So Japan needs the United States. It's unhappy about tariffs, but it's willing to pay if it means keeping the United States in the region and maintaining that important partnership.
Well, Sanae Takaichi's only been in office for a few weeks. Already she has scored a visit by Donald Trump. Domestically, this visit by the US president was a big win for the Prime Minister.
Absolutely, and I think that she's handled it well, and her foreign policy team have prepared meticulously to ensure that everything that happens on the trip makes Mr. Trump look great, but also contributes to his domestic policies of making America great again. Whether it's investing in defense technology and the delivery of missile systems ahead of time, which again feeds into the American market, strengthening the partnership on rare earth materials so that can strengthen the economy back home, or investing in other areas such as shipbuilding and again trade. All of this is on Mr. Trump's agenda of making America great again. And Takaichi has been clever in saying that Japan is part of making America great again, not the problem in making America great again.
Meanwhile, both Trump and Takaichi made several references to former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was assassinated in 2022. Now, the man accused of shooting him goes on trial today.
Yes, so it was a lone wolf. If it was the United States, unfortunately, it would be, a single white young man. That's, I think, the equivalent of what happened in Japan. He's gone on trial. He will be likely prosecuted under Japanese law. It appears that he has some kind of psychological issues, and in the Japanese case, this may provide some amnesty for his crime. But I think it's significant that Mr. Trump is here, that his Mr. Abe's protege Ms. Takaichi is now Prime Minister, and they're talking about deeper cooperation that was built on that partnership between Shinzo Abe and the first Donald Trump administration. I think it can only go positive from here, but that will depend, of course, on the dynamics and domestic politics in both countries and how well I think Takaichi manages this most critical of relationships.
Well, Takaichi did a lot to try and please the Trump administration and the visit. Overall, he was also very generous towards Japan and said he'll be there to help them in any way possible. How strategic is the US's move?
So I think the United States under Donald Trump was very strategic this visit. They first visited Malaysia to try and strengthen that relationship and repair it. He visited the ASEAN summit. Of course, he visited Japan with some real take-homes in terms of bilateral relations, and then he's going to visit APEC to meet Xi Jinping. This was strategic in terms of demonstrating that the United States is committed to the region, has the strongest of partners, and that there's no space or gap between the Japanese and the United States on defense and security, trade, or diplomacy. And I think that was the message he wanted to send to Xi Jinping. It's the message he wanted to send to the Japanese. And I think he's genuinely happy about a female prime minister in Japan, and he does have he has a liking for successful people and successful leaders, and I think he sees success in Takaichi Sanae.
Stephen Nagy, always good to get your views. Thanks so much.
Thank you.